Hey YouTube, Casual Brews here with a little late Seahawks game 3, week 3 recap. Been a few days since I uploaded a video. As you can see, different backdrop here. I've process of moving. Um, but yeah, to cut right to the chase, I guess. Really bad loss. Been humming and hawing. Is it worse than the Titans loss? It's really about the same. It followed almost the exact same formula as the Titans game, except Minnesota put a few more longer drives together, and so they were able to get the lead and hold it. Yeah, really feel shitty about this one. Obviously, had high hopes for this season. I knew there was some holes in the team. I knew the secondary wasn't going to be great, but I thought, with DJ Reed getting another year in the offense, he'll take a step forward off of an impressive first season with the Seahawks. I thought there was reports and that Flowers was going to take a leap up this year, and boy, did they ever look awful. I want to hope it's just the scheme, but both Reed and the whole secondary. I mean, Jamal Adams missed some tackles. Quandre Diggs had a terrible game, missed a ton of tackles, especially in the run game, and allowing guys to get yards after catch. And just, it's like, why is Trey Flowers playing like 10 yards off Jefferson? He's such a crafty, nifty receiver. Like, you give him that much space, he's gonna, like, it's just insane. Everyone was wide open, and the run defense still terrible. I don't like. If anything, you hope the Seahawks could at least stop the run if they're going to have a spotty secondary, but can't stop the run. They're playing 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. Guys are like, Kirk Cousins can just throw 5 yards here, 5 yards there, and because there's no one around, they run the additional 5 yards, get the first down every time. So that was concerning. But if your defense is going to stink, at least you got to put up some points. I mean, that's how Kansas City has won games. That's how the Bucks this year have won games. Just at least outscoring the other team. But just like the first two games, offense was non-existent in the second half. In this game, they didn't have much time to do anything because Titans put together 8-minute drive after 8-minute drive, whether it be field goal or touchdown. The end result, they hardly had the ball in the second half, but when they did, just desperate throws, unproductive on first down, bad sacks. The one sack on their first drive, I think first or second drive, they only had like 3 drives a whole half or something. I feel like. So yeah, just I don't know how everything can. It was a carbon copy of the Titans game in a sense that I felt really good for most of the first half, and then obviously Minnesota put that drive together to end the half. And even though they were down 21-17, I'm like, yeah, it sucks, but I thought, okay, well, hopefully we can just hold them to a field goal or even get a field goal ourselves to end the half. They didn't do that. Yeah, like I had some confidence going into the second half, but then, Minnesota comes out of halftime and puts another massive drive together to go up, was it 24-17 no, yeah, 24-17. They had like another 8-minute field goal drive or something to start the second half. Just completely deflating. Starts with the defense. Like I said, if defense can't get stops, the offense doesn't really get enough possessions to get a rhythm going. But they didn't take opportunities. Again, they got shut out. How do you get shut out an entire half of football? It's just impossible. It's bad. It's really bad. It's a little too early to jump ship. I just kind of hope it's schematics. Like, when I first finished watching the game, or rather, no, I'd say in the second game, I had, even though the defense, they got shredded, I put it more on the offense, not scoring. But this one, I have to put more on the defense because just the second half, Russ and them hardly had the ball. And then, so when they did, they got desperate. So this one's more on defense, and I just think it's schematics. I mean, I'm not one of those fans who likes to overreact to say, "Oh, fire this coach like week 3," right? But Ken Norton, man, I mean, I know he doesn't have great personnel, but Reed looks awful in comparison to last year. Flowers, he's been bad ever since we've known him, so no shock there. And like again, missed tackles can't happen. In schematics, you can't line up like certain receivers. Maybe you can give them a cushion, but a fast guy like Jefferson, like Flowers, was never within 5 yards of him every time he caught the ball. And like I know he's not a great cover corner, anyways, but you set him up to fail, he's gonna fail. At least give him a chance. Have him jam him at the line of scrimmage or something. Do like Sherman would sometimes line up off guys a little bit if he was playing like a zone, but Flowers like they're playing man to man schemes sometimes and lining up that far off. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it's just how many wide open. There was hardly any. They didn't hardly to make any contested catches, and that's kind of a problem too with the Seahawks. Like they're not making enough contested catches because they're not scheming guys open the way like the Vikings were scheming Jefferson and Thielen open, and the tight end. Like guys were open all the time. And if you're gonna still be terrible in pass defense, you gotta at least stop the run, and they couldn't do that. So yeah, I was hopeful still after the Titans loss that turn things around, but man, it doesn't look good now. Got the Niners coming up. Now I don't think they're that great. I think their defense looked pretty bad against Green Bay. They're having the same problems. They were leaving guys wide open. Like how do you let Devontae Adams constantly be open? Like it's unbelievable. When Rodgers is basically telling you he's going to throw to him. So yeah, I mean they got some of the same problems we do. They are a little better against the run. They can get to the quarterback a little bit better, but their pass defense is terrible too, and they got injuries too. That doesn't help their cause there either. So I think that'll be a high-scoring game. I think we could maybe turn things around, but the Rams the week after, at least the Thursday night game, so it's going to be sloppy. But that first time we have to play the Rams on a full week's of practice, fuck. I don't know. It's still at least this is happening in week 3 and not the end of the season like last year. Like we looked great the first half of last season and then fell off a cliff. So that's my only silver lining right now is that we're getting these terrible games out of the way early. Problem is you play in a division that's ridiculous right now. Thankfully Green Bay won, which I picked as well, money line. So that at least puts one more team with a loss, but Arizona's 3-0, the Rams are 3-0. Until those two teams play each other, it's hard to really put in the loss for either of those two teams. So, yeah, I mean, thankfully for the extra wildcard team, that might be our only hope is to squeeze in as that 7th seed team. Maybe get hot late, I don't know. That's my only ray of sunshine in this one, is that it's still early in the season, and that it's hopefully just a schematic thing and not the fact that we just don't have the players. Because I think I saw enough of DJ Reed last year. I saw Diggs make the Pro Bowl. I saw Jamal Adams do great things. I saw the offense, at least in the first half of the season and in game 1, look really good. And hopefully they can get things turned around. And that defense, that was really the only positive part about the last half of last season. Well, those guys are still there, and they, got guys like Darrell Taylor now that weren't playing last year who made an impact right away. So I hope it's just a schematic thing. You got to think Pete Carroll and Ken Norton Jr. have been doing this long enough to look at the tape and see, oh, well, we should probably, maybe we should let Trey Flowers jam a guy at the line of scrimmage once in a while instead of lining up past the first down marker. Like, it's unbelievable. The receivers aren't even being touched until they're at the first down marker. It's incredible. So hopefully they can get it turned around. Maybe that one extra game we have this year will be the difference. If we figure it out late in the season and get this turned around. I think I predicted them to go at 13-4. It's not going to happen now, but maybe this is a 10-7 team that figures it out late in the season. Maybe goes on a run. Maybe dare I say, wins the Niners game. Again, after watching the Niners against the Packers last night, they didn't impress me. The Packers have had their flaws, and they let the Niners get back into it, but for a while the game wasn't close. Your defense gave Rodgers too much time, and then they did the exact same thing the Seahawks did. They just left everyone open. Played zone, but the zone was like a free pass. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully it's just early season struggles. I'll take that over last year where we had the false sense of security, the good start, the Russell Wilson MVP parade, and fell off a cliff in the second half. So if the reverse could happen this year, great. All right. Anyway, that's the review. Like I said, maybe I think you have a shot at San Francisco, and then who knows, Thursday night game against LA, maybe less time for them to prepare. Just figure out their ways they're going to get their guys wide open against our secondary. Who knows, 2 wins against divisional opponents could be just what the doctor ordered to get us back in the mix, right? But it's tough to it's tough to expect that now after what we've seen in these 2 games, but it's early, so I guess anything can still happen.